Hello there and welcome to my channel. My name is Shan and this is Shan Plays, and today I'll be trying to record a voiceover even though I'm still terribly hoarse. But actually though, let me get to talking about what I'm building here. As you might be able to tell from the title, it's my first apartment. So as soon as I moved out of the dorms in college, I moved into an apartment. And it wasn't like a normal apartment, it was actually a quadplex. So that's why I'm building this kind of shape here. You'll see the location of mine because it's the one I focus on the most in the build. So I was like facing the building. I was on the upper right hand side. And you know, it was a pretty cool place to live. Like, I could ride my bicycle to campus if I wanted. It was kind of far, so I didn't usually do it, but I could. And it was a super fast drive. Now, I went ahead and put this in Windenburg on the Shrieking Llama lot. Later on in the video, I move it to, I forgot the name of the lot, but it'll show up. Anyway, it's still in Windenburg, I believe, but it's the one like right next to this one. And anyway, I put it here because my college town is kind of an older town, so I wanted an older setting. And also the location of my building was kind of like secluded-ish. Like we had this little stream running out behind it. I think it was like a little tributary from the Missouri River. There were just little streams everywhere. It was really pretty. So as you can see here, I'm starting to add some furniture to try and feel out the size I'm needing. So I'm trying to work on the kitchen, and I don't have any like references of the inside of this place anymore. So I was just going based off of memory because I did live there for 4 years. 4 years? 3 years. I lived there for 3 years, yeah. And my oven I had was awful. So that awful one that I put in there is accurate. I tried to bake cookies once, not even homemade ones, just the ones that you like buy in the refrigerator section at the store, and they're like pre-made basically, and you just, you know, throw them in the oven, those kind. And I managed to burn half of them and leave the other half undercooked. You would think that there'd be like one row of perfect cookies in that scenario. No, there was just one row of cookies that were literally both burnt and runny, depending on which side of the oven that their half was on. It was terrible. So yeah, I did not cook much in that place. Pardon my pestilence. I feel super lucky to have a laundry hookup in this apartment. It did not come with a washer and dryer, but luckily I was able to get a set from my family. And so I did not have to go to like the laundromat or anything. I had to do that whenever I was a freshman and I lived in the dorms. We had like a laundry room in the basement for, you know, dozens of 18-year-old, 19-year-olds to use. And yeah, people would just like take people's clothes out of the washer or dryer and just set them there and use the rest of their cycle. Save money. What I just did there, I felt pretty clever about. I took that shelf from Strangerville. I sized it down a couple times because in that apartment I had like a little metal shelving unit there. And so I thought that really emulated it better than anything else we had. I also, you can see, put an AC unit there, and that's because I couldn't remember at first if my apartment had one or not, but what it was actually was that it had a place where you could hook one up, but there wasn't one there, but it was fine because we had an AC, which I did forget to put a thermostat in this house, so if you want a thermostat, you know, you'll have to add it. But at this point, I kind of realized that I did not make enough. I misjudged the size of my apartment. Like, I made this way smaller than it needed to be. And so I was trying to figure out how to properly expand it. I also needed to put in like a hot water heater, and so I kind of took those like hazardous waste barrel things from Get to Work and stacked them on top of each other. I thought it kind of looked like a water heater. I don't know. It's just, shoved in the corner. It's supposed to look like this mechanical thing. Just, don't look too closely at the radiation signs. Biohazard, whatever they are. I got this dingy wallpaper, which to be honest, my wallpaper is a little, like, my paint was nicer than that. My paint was painted over, but it did have those kind of floorboards. So I thought I'd go with it anyway. At this point, I'm just looking for a gray couch so I can again size the living room. My couch was pretty huge actually. It was a 2-seater one like that, but it was really long and we could barely get it in and out of that apartment. I had a weird little closet I'm trying to make. And now back over on this side, I'm trying to figure out how to, yeah, there we go. I finally kind of was figuring out how to get the layout for the 2 bedrooms and the bathroom. Sorry, I sound like I'm dying. Anyway, I finally started getting it to work. I finally got the bathroom going how it needed to be. And pretty soon here, I'm gonna realize that the lot that I'm on is not big enough, and that's when I'll move. That's when I'll move the structure. But I'm just kind of still making sure everything is proportioned correctly, and I'm looking for doors. Those dinged up doors that came with City Living were absolutely perfect for this. Literally my exact doors. Okay, here's where I realized where I went wrong with the living room. Made it too narrow. And yeah, so now I have a much better sized living room for what I need. I also had this great little balcony, which was cool because it looked over that little tributary. One time after it had rained a lot, I looked out the window and there was actually like 2 people going by like on a kayak. It was wild. Okay, I'm back. I had to go for a second so I could have like a really intense coughing fit and rest my voice. Anyway, at this point I'm working on the windows. That's where I realized I didn't need the unit. I cut out part of the stuff with the windows because I was just struggling a lot to find the right kind of windows. I didn't actually end up finding any that were exactly right, but I figured they're close enough. And this is like, once I get the right color of carpet, this is like exactly what it looked like in that apartment. Yeah. And that linoleum was also accurate. Like that's the flooring of my first apartment, like exactly. I had a little bit of trouble finding a shower that I liked because my actual shower didn't even like come with its own rod. Like I had to add one in. And mine was turquoise, but I kind of felt like that was the closest. It had like an obnoxious pedestal sink. Well, a pedestal stink might be accurate actually, because I'm not a big fan of them. Oh, I was like the worst time trying to get the shape of this room right. I don't know why it was giving me so much trouble. Also, I apologize if you hear my laptop dying in the background. It doesn't like multitasking, which is, I'm pretty sure, pretty relatable. Oh, am I right? Yeah, at this point, I'm just trying to find, like, we had a little built-in shelving unit there, which was good since we had a pedestal sink. I keep saying it, sink, and I didn't have any storage from that. Gotta scoot the toilet over ever so slightly, and get that medicine cabinet. I was really upset that I couldn't find like matching hardware, but I figured that it's fine if it doesn't match. Like I probably care more than other people. And of course, having to get a nice little thing for your feet. I used to have one that was like memory foam, which was kind of weird, but it was nice. I actually had 2 of them. I had a turquoise one, and when it got old, I got a brown one. So now I'm trying to get closets. As you can see, there was a little square left next to that closet in the second room. And what I should have built there was a little closet off the hallway. I forgot that existed, but yeah, that's where it was. And so instead of having just a hole there with nothing in it, I should have put a hall closet door and then put shelves inside. That would have made it like accurate to the actual apartment, but I just forgot. So I had a little bit of trouble finding tables. Now, that's exactly what I had my TV setting on, and I still have it on that exact table like to this day. It's all beat up like that. But I don't end up keeping that there just because the TV wasn't sitting on it correctly. And it bothers me whenever stuff is floating and I'm kind of like seeing how I can see it float and stuff. Oh yeah, I also had a pet rabbit. Now we don't have rabbits, but we do have rats. So I decided to put a rat cage there because I'd love to have a pet rat, actually, if I could. I just have a dog right now and I don't feel like I don't have enough to give for 2 animals. Like, I just feel like I don't want to neglect either one. At the time I had my rabbit, though, I did not have my dog. So I'm trying to find a like good table, and it's kind of funny because yesterday in my video where I was talking about like, oh yeah, we don't need an ottoman, like this thing might be a bench, I don't want another bench, and it actually was like an ottoman table. That's what I needed for this because that's what I had like, and I still have it actually. It's kind of like in The Sims it'd be like 2 square by 1 square, you know, the size of a love seat. Like ottoman that opens up, and that's what I had. So I felt like with that one I had, at least it got the concept of having storage with it. And that little side table there that I'm putting by the window is exactly like one that I used to have. The one that I have books in was pretty cool. It was actually meant, I think, to hold probably yarn in the table, but I always kept DVDs in it because it basically had like a little right angle section where you could store things. I'm about to find like the perfect chairs that are exactly like my chairs actually. One of them, yeah, this one I just got secondhand, and the other one I got at like an antique store, and both of them I got super good deals on, but I got it at an antique store. It's falling apart, and my mom and my grandma helped me to restain it and to like recover the like the cloth part of the seat. And so yeah, and instead of a giraffe lamp like that, I actually had a dog lamp. Like there is a dog with a lamp coming out its back, so I felt like that was a similar vibe. Yeah, here I am just not being happy with the way that TV's sitting. I'm gonna try and fiddle around with it, but I switched stuff around. I'm sorry, I have the sickness. And you may be noticing that I'm not like styling everything super in depth. There's 2 reasons for that. One, I was just at this point still getting everything like measured out how I wanted it to be and to just make sure it works. And 2, I'm not a big into having lots of decor. And especially then I just didn't have very much stuff. So it was messy because I had clothes everywhere and stuff for school, but it wasn't like cluttered. I didn't have like a ton of decorative possessions. I just had a ton of mess. Now, the bed that looks like my actual bed that I had in there, in the game, we have like a single bed version of it, and I think it came with Parenthood, but I'm not sure. And it's like the wrought iron bed, and it only comes on a single bed. Mine is like that, but it is a double bed, and I really wish we had one of those in The Sims, because we have like the twin size version. Why do we not have the adult size version? Like, I don't get it. And then this table, exactly my table, except that, and the chairs exactly like that, except that I painted blue accents on them. So like the legs of the table were blue and parts of the chair were blue. I just don't remember what parts. Maybe the legs and the like backs. I could be wrong though. We originally had that table in like oak and dark green, but it looked really messed up and it was really old, so I like sanded it down and repainted it. I had quite a struggle with this second bedroom. And mainly because I was having trouble remembering what it looked like exactly. But I know I had this kind of set up, and I end up changing out one of those tables because I like to do my makeup there. And so I thought it would be really cool if the sim who lived there could do their makeup. So here's where I get the vanity instead of the folding table. Even though in reality I did have 2 folding tables. I just like the functionality of having the vanity in there. I had a little bookshelf there. It was smaller than that, but that's really the most similar one in the game. And I had a bunch of books on top of it. But at this point, I just wasn't really feeling like, trying to alt place a bunch of objects. Then I'm getting myself a computer. Yep. I was an English major. Sorry, I'm dying. Anyway, I was a college student. I thought about putting so I had a computer. I thought about putting the canvas, or not canvas holder. What is it? The easel. I thought about putting an easel in there just because I got into watercolor painting when I lived there, even though watercolor doesn't use an easel. But I just decided there really wasn't room. And I was having a little trouble with the curtains, but my first pet stuff, it came in handy in a pinch. So, you can't say it never did anything for me. I used it 2 integral places in this build. If only it had had rabbits. That would be so cool. They had raccoons. They have raccoons in boxes. They should have rabbits. Just saying. Here I was actually doing the lights for real instead of just having the lights that I needed to see. I finally remembered that I had fans in this house. It took me a minute because none of the lights were looking right, and then I realized why. So I kind of had to make my own custom lights so that they would suit it. And it ends up being kind of dull and dark and dim. And that's because it wasn't lit very well, It's an older place. Sorry. So here I moved on to the bigger lot, and I actually went ahead and duplicated all the other apartments. You can see me working on the roof. I went and looked on Google Maps to see what this place actually looked like so I could get it accurate on the outside. The standard tiles that EA just puts on houses when you put a roof on them may have been more accurate than those, but it just looks unfinished if you leave the standard ones that are always there, But yeah, all the other apartments I kind of left as though someone was moving into them, so they're an unfurnished apartment, but they still have stuff like, a stove and a toilet, because whenever you rent an apartment, at least where I live, those things are pretty standard. In my apartment, I didn't have a dishwasher, but I could have hooked one up if I wanted to, and my neighbors had one that she did that with. I didn't have the washer and dryer, but I had the hookups for it. So, I got to keep mine, and when I moved to my next place, the same thing happened. So it worked out. So I noticed that it had the weirdest little bit of landscaping. It had all these tiny bushes along it. I don't know why the bushes were all so small. It's so strange. And then it was kind of it wasn't on a cul-de-sac, but it was on a little lane, and all the houses on the lane were the same as my house, and the lane was a dead end. So it was kind of like a cul-de-sac. But anyway, yeah, so in my real house, that walkway would have gone into the parking lot / road. And you can kind of see where I've gone into the other apartments and sort of filled them out a little. Now, one annoying thing that's going to come up here is I lost part of my footage. I don't know why. It just gave up on me. Probably because I had it paused and then restarted it, and then I messed up something when I did that. But yeah, here I'm just like kind of finishing the outside. I'm finishing up the balcony. I'm gonna have some like screenshots for you guys. I'll have some from above, and I'll have some of the individual rooms. And I also will have this up on the gallery, and I'll try to get a link down in there if I remember to do it. I feel like this could be really fun playing with for a sim that is in college, or it could be really fun playing with using like the new roommate system that came with university, even if they weren't in college. It could also be really cool for like a legacy family because, or even just like a group of sims who don't really know each other, but they're neighbors, so they get to know each other. And you know, all 4 of these apartments have 2 bedrooms, so you can easily house 8 sims in this. And you know, you can configure them in a variety of ways if you want. You could have like one of these apartments have like 2 kids and 2 parents. You could have one, just have like one person who lives in it. You can mix it up all kinds of ways. So I'm just putting in finishing details with that closet, and pretty soon it'll cut off. So if you did enjoy this video, please go ahead and give me a like, hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to ring the bell so you'll know whenever I post more videos. This has been super fun. Enjoy those screenshots. So bye.